Amen. At this particular moment, we are going to invite our pastor, Pastor Nyarige, who's going to take us for this session. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. So, the floor is open for questions and answers. I'm here. I told you already during the week, I'm not coming in as an expert. Like I have answers to your questions. It's an open forum where we can discuss the questions, how we go about. So I'm open for a question from end quarter, whatever. They didn't send questions ahead of time, so we can start to look at some of the issues that we tackled through the week. Maybe you can ask from these characteristics, the personalities. We looked at them, we saw the asserters, the who take their ground, the empathizers, those who also take their ground, the analyzers, the harmonizers. So we talked about those. So you can ask from wherever. So the floor is open now. All right, then question. Can throw it in and then we can start to tackle it. All right, then I don't know if there's a quick question, and I will try to throw in one question to wake up our minds to start thinking. Now, I told you, like, I do chaplain's work. Sometimes I pray for people. We talk a lot of things. So my work is to do hospice chaplaincy. When we do hospice, those of you who work in nursing, you know those are people at terminal stage in their life. So I walk into a room and we are talking with this mzee. And he's like, hey, Chaplain Samuel, I'm glad. And how many kids do you got? He's like, I have 2 boys and 2 girls. And what are your plans as you go to, as you relax now, waiting for your day? Maybe it's like, yeah, I'm ready to go home, but tell me more. That's how we ask them. Tell me more about going home. He told me, like, I'm so happy, you know. I want to stay around and punish them more. Punish them. I will punish them. I don't want to go quickly. I want to go home, but I want to stay around and punish them. You understand what I'm talking about? And I was like, who are you punishing? It's like, you know, those kids of mine, I have the POA. Those of you who work in the nursing home, do you know that what means? Power of attorney. I still have it. When you say power of attorney, you know, in this Western culture, you mean you assign someone in your family so that the time you are impaired, you cannot talk, you cannot do things for yourself. This person can make decisions. So he said, I am going to hang around for a while to do what? To do what? Yeah, they are not going to get my money. They are not going to get my resources. I am going to hang around so that I punish them. And then I was thinking about this, and I flashed back. I said, oh, kumbe, these things are the same from here and all the way back to Africa. Remember back in Africa? So some of you was there who are here. You have things at home in Africa. In Kenya, things you left there. And maybe you have some kids in Africa and some here. At what point can you relinquish the power of what property? This is my land I got from my father, ancestral land. This is what I sweated and bought. Was say help me here. And those of you younger here, let us listen to the wisdom. At what point should we relinquish that power? Yeah, I don't know if we have a roving mic. So I decided to customize it and take it, bring back. I brought it from a Mzungu. The Mzungu said, I don't want to die quickly. I want to hang around for a while to punish them. And to add on that, Elder Kennedy, before you answer, let me bring this in. Those of you who have grown in Kenya, you have seen another trend. If you give the thing to your sons, some of them will, let me translate this Kisi language to English. They will sing over it. So they will terror them, and before they can even help themselves, these things are gone. So at what point can you release this power and let us now draw the boundary?
Hello, hello.
Most of us is about how to handle the situations, not to deal with them is another thing. So let me go back to, thank you so much, Pastor. Let me go back to the question asked, when is the right time to give them, to relinquish them? I don't have anything to give to my kids. I have a piece of land which I was given by my father and the other things I've done. I think the best time is when you make them ready to be able to have them. Why am I saying this one? There was a story where a rich man, a billionaire, went and took his boy to somewhere. He showed, see all these buildings? I have for you. If I die, you take care from there. Then the kid says, Dad, what are you talking about? What about the buildings? He's a young kid. He has not matured, know what wealthy means. So to me, I say, if unless I train my kids to know that how to deal with them, there is no need of doing what? Giving them, unless they understand. There was a rich man where I was working in Garissa. His kids used to work for him to pay them. The kids could come, could meet in the road. They had nice cars. They understood the wealth the father had does not belong to them. It belongs to the family. So they grew up knowing what we have to take care of it. So to me, my answer can say this one. The time to relinquish to them, we have to make them aware that what are we giving them? How can they use them? This is an inheritance from their grandfathers, wherever where they came from. So when they come on their hand, they can be able to do what to manage. We have had so many things the way you said that when the daddy dies, the company goes down. Instead of taking care of the father before the funeral, they are dividing what's there. So unless you make them ready, you won't make any difference with them.
I'm going to add something, Elder Marwanga, as we keep thinking about this better. You know, already your mind is running back to Kenya about the land and houses. Not here, you are not thinking. I knew automatically our mind will flash. I'm here, I'm at your back door, you parents, young parents. At what point will you let these young kids with blood boiling to go out and give them the key that now have the car? Go. and then the blood is boiling, and then the speed and all that, the movie, there's a Bluetooth in the car, and all the music is bombarding, and they have hoovers at the trunk. Even if the police stop them, they can't even hear what he's saying because the hoovers are pumping all over. So at what point can you let them know, like, oh, now you're free, you can go, it's time. So we mix those two. Let us not think about, oh, somewhere. Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. Yes, happy Sabbath. Well, I bought some assets back home when I was just about to leave Kenya to come to America and still go to school. And now they tell me you are a millionaire back in Africa. And now, here I watch, I don't miss our GC all the time. And I watch 3ABN every day. And there's a parent. Okay, those of us who came from Minneapolis first, there's nobody here. When we were in Minneapolis first, one couple signed their property to the church. And so we paid off, we got $300,000 from this couple. So we paid off the church. Okay. Now, another couple signed off their big buildings to 3ABN. And the children took them to court. Well, the judge said that was not yours, that was your parents. Okay, Miss White says this. Like, I wanted to get that, but I don't know. I can post it in our church wall. Should you need it? When you leave a lot of money with these children, you are ruining their life. I'm just paraphrasing. And the money we have on our hand, on our disposal, is meant to further this gospel. If I have a lot of money, I'm thinking of building a school back home. I have already signed money to drill a well and build a school. I mean it. And if you have like these houses here, the houses, I can easily liquidate it. It's almost 400,000, one of them, another, there are few. So if you live with this person, in the first place, they don't know how it came. And secondly, if they are not oriented with the gospel, if they are not swallowed with the gospel to further it, it will damage them. You like it, you don't like it. So I would suggest that there are a few ways that we can will our lives to these children. The first one, there is a way that you can take some money and put it aside for 18 years when they are going to college. If you start with 5,000, they will be having over 200,000. There's an insurance like that. Another way is to will to.
Oh, Sister Pam,
yeah.
What if you save it all the way, but when it's 18 years, they don't go to school, they go to McDonald's, they go to work?
It matures. Okay. It's called a maturity time.
All right.
That will. You can access it either at 18 years or 21 years.
All right.
Okay, another thing I wanted to say, the conference has given us a free way to write our own wills. And people think when you see that you are living in an apartment, you have nothing, you have a lot behind you. So the best way, if you don't understand wills, the conference, of course, some people will will their life to the church, like these white people did to Minneapolis first. The other option would be an estate. You can create an estate. Like, you remember Princess Diana? Princess Diana created an estate for younger children before she died. So in that estate, she put conditions in there. It was a lot of money, of course. So she put conditions for Harris and William. And they fulfill those conditions, they can access their income. So, but for us Christians, we could use the one from Minnesota Conference, or you could purchase this one that I'm talking about. So if you are not there, it matures when you die. So, okay, God forbid, okay, there's dead. And most of us don't know that, but there is dead. So if you die and this child is like 14 years, that one matures. So for someone like that, you have to put an estate to manage for this child. Let's say you die and you leave 600,000 with this child, and you have your brother next to this child. This child may not even benefit from that money. So the best way is to set up an estate to manage it for you.
Yeah, Pastor, I just wanted to add that recently, actually, I read something which I did not know, so it was from the book of prophecy, and it's on stewardship. The number one thing that I saw and came to discover, this wealth is not my wealth. As much as I would like to say that I'm leaving my wealth behind, it's what God has given me. And we have two things to do with it. One of it that we need to plan is the furtherance, how whatever we have earned is going to further the gospel. That is one thing that I saw. I did not know that part until I saw it. That when you're planning, you plan on how the gospel is going, the continuity of the gospel after you are going. The church has to continue. We always dwell on our children, on our people.
All right. So I want to push it further, Sister Judy and Sister Pam. That's a good, you are thinking as good Christians who are thinking for their children. Okay. All right. Yeah, come use this one. Wase endelea kufikiria somo, endelea kufikiria, mnanipea majibu.
And one very important thing that was mentioned here, and Sister Pam mentioned, is that we need to nurture our children and we need to know them. Because you've been teaching us about conflict. Wealth causes conflict in families. Even people who are living in harmony, when it comes to wealth issues, things happen. Families and children. So number one, we need to know who we are dealing with and how we are dealing with them in regard to this wealth. Find a better way of investing or making this money to be useful to them in their future. Because we know our children or we know our spouses. You leave everything, in a fortnight, they are in Las Vegas, they are flying all over. Before they come back, everything is done. I saw a story this 2 weeks ago. It's on the news. It was on the news. There was people who are fundraising for this couple who are 87 years old.
Hello.
The whole of their life, they
Hello,
had never
hello,
lived
hello.
in an apartment or anything. They had their own home. What happened? They have one son.
Hello.
And then they showed him, while they were doing this investment we are talking about, the son, when they were writing down the names, the son told them that just put them. You know how they can be real quick. And he was a person who was learned and working. He told them, you don't have to put them under your names, but I will inherit after you are gone. After like 10 years down the lane, the son went and sold the house. And then he disappeared. The parents did not know where he was. What happens? The people who bought the house, they came. These couple were kicked out of their own home because their son sold it. They were out there. So good wishers developed this GoFundMe. That's how I came to see this information. They put the GoFundMe for them because they became homeless. Because the son they trusted so much went and sold this property where they were living in. They were just there, destitute, having nothing. Well-wishers were doing the GoFundMe. So even as much as you would want to trust your children, this work, let's ask for God to help us so that we know how to make this be helpful for them in this future life, in preparation for their life to come. Otherwise, it will even destroy families. It will even kill our children or our spouses will get themselves in places they shouldn't be and lose eternity because of wealth. Thank you, Pastor.
All right. So, elders, I want to hear from Wazir. I want to hear from Akina Mama. What your plans? What are your plans? That Mse said, I want to stay around to punish them. They have to see me. So he's hanging around. He doesn't want to die any soon. And so at what point should we trust these kids? Wase Akina Mama, there are some things you left in Kenya and you have made some progress and you have some kids here and some back in Africa. Are you going to give these ones anything? Because already they have money, they sleep, they walk on money, and so today need. Are you going? So those are the things I am facing the realities of life. You know, sometimes we talk church so much. By the time we die, you go, they put you in the morgue in Kisi General. You are there for 14 years. Your family is sitting. Oh, that is them say who used to be in America. The family is still solving the crisis before they can. So how do we run? What time? At what point should we invest? And then when Sister Pam is talking, they are talking nicely from a Western perspective, because Sister Pam, the borehole, you are not going to estate the boreholes on the other side of the wall, is on the other. Oh, okay. All right, Sister Pam is going to give. So you will give it to the church. Now let us have those parents whose kids don't have nothing to do with the church. Are you still going to love them and give them when it's going to hurt? Are you going to give them? All right, I'm waiting for answers from you. Parents, it's the same. It's the same question from both the elderly and the young parents who are here, some of us who are here. At what time are you going to give freedom for your children to be on their own? Because, all right, let's have a...
Pastor, to be honest, if we stand for honesty, as parents, individually, we know our children more than anything. So you look at your children, you see who is even a potential to keep the resources that we've generated for so many years. And when you look around, you don't see any. So my personal decision will be just as long as you've taken them to school, they've made their own choices, and you know, it is their time to also labor and bring up, make their future as well. So my decision will be, these children, Pastor, the truth is that we are the last generation taking care of our parents. They are not going to come to take care of us. It is a denial that we are not accepting, but it's a fact. So my children are already asking me which nursing home I will prefer, you know. So before I come to give them an answer, I have to know how am I going to, how safe am I going to be in that nursing home. So to be safe there, I have to generate my own ways of going to be safe in there. So they are not going to come and pay for me. That is the reality. So the thing is this: I will generate my own funds. If I have things in Kenya, it will reach a time, as long as I don't get an accident and die, if it is a true aging process of death, I will sell all my estate in Kenya and come and bank it here so that it can take care of me when I'm old. Otherwise, about the children, they will take care of themselves.
All right. So you see that you see where the wave is heading. She has already made her decision. She's going to the Golden Valley, beautiful nursing home. That's where she's heading. So at what point, yes, there is another feedback.
Pastor, I will continue to add on what she was saying. Most of the time, when the children know, okay, when my children will know that what I have belongs to them, they will not work hard. So it is good they know what I have is for me and my wife. With them, if I'm going to educate or I've educated them, they will do their own things. Because if you put them on your things, they will mess you up. I've seen so many people who have been, like, we can give an example of those prominent people who have died in Kenya. You see the way they have done even those old mamas who are left behind. They are languishing in pain. They have so much, but they can't use even nothing because the children have taken their mothers to court. Because the fathers didn't do what is right. They could have said, me, if it's me now to write the will, I will say, until I die and I'm buried, that is when you guys will take whatever that remains. But for when I'm leaving or my wife is leaving, either one of us is leaving, nobody will touch my stuff. That is what I can say.
All right. Now fire is coming up. Yes, Pastor.
I will let the members say first.
All right.
I don't want to corrupt their mind.
Who is next?
So it's on the same note as you answer Elder Kennedy. And she has brought in a very important thing. At what point should we make a decision if we are going to live in America or we are going to live in Port Wells? At what point are we going to decide if we are fully going to the nursing home or we are going to be buried at Nyamashu? At what point are we going to decide that? Yeah.
I think what Valentine is saying about making our kids to understand that what she has is for her and the husband. If I was Valentine and your husband, I don't see that way. The reason I'm saying it this way, it's going to reach a time when you are old and your husband will be there to take care of you. Even you may have money in the bank. Your kids have to understand, yes, this is money to take care of us, but you have to involve them. Another thing, I was reading a verse here where you're saying about Proverbs 13, 5:22. Sometimes let us talk the reality. Proverbs 13 here says this way, says that the good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Yes, grandfather. So imagine a grandfather is being mentioned before he comes. I mean, before he dies. So even if we run away from what we are running away, our kids need to know what we have. Another thing, Pastor, you said this way, they have money. There is no money in America unless you work for it. There is no money in America you can say they have. They are not swimming in money. Even we parents, we work for it. I can go back to talk about when is the right time. The right time is when to tell them now, this is how to deal with the money, this is how to take care of the money, and the money we are saving for you is for you to take over the right way. You can take kids can be able to understand what money is than saying now they have their own money. They don't have any money. And even if we say that we are in America, that money is bad there. I gave a reason. I said something here saying that here in America, the people who are rich, those rich people, the smart ones, they tell their kids, I am rich, this is money, this is how to spend it, this I acquired. But some of them, they have divorced. Even this issue about cheap peso. The wife goes this way, and the other one goes this way. Where is the kids? To me, unless you train them to understand how to take care of this money won't make anything in their life. That's what I can say.
In other words, training does not wait until the energy is depleted. It is a continuous process you are doing right now. We should start when they are very young, but our parents in Africa never did that to us. Children did not know anything about money. I did not touch money. One day, the time I touched my dad's money is when we stole it with my stepbrother and we went to buy some candy. That's when I touched money. So, I want us to face that because sometimes we fail to talk these things and we end up ending in trouble because we have not prepared. So say, I want to hear with you, at what time will you write your will? Can you do it right now, or you wait and speak? You know, in Africa, we speak it. We don't write it. You speak it at your deathbed, and you say 5 cows to so and so, 3 acres. All right, Valentine, you have a hand up, or a pastor?
I think I wanted to borrow what Elder Marwanga said. The children are yours, and the things whatever things you have, it's for them. As young as Arthur is, I am supposed to start investing for him, because there's something people understand here. It's called generational wealth. All of us are struggling because maybe our parents, we are the first people to get the chance to come here. But do we just leave our children like that just because they've gone to school? You've gone to school and you see you live paycheck to paycheck. You have a house, you don't know when you're going to finish paying for it. But you find other people, by the time their kids are finishing school, they have a house already they've been paid for. They don't have school loans. And because these are your children, they are not your enemies. They are not your neighbors. I mean, they are your children. So if they are your children, train them from the very beginning, from when they come here to church. Train them that we give to God what belongs to God, not just coins and $1 bill. Just train them that we give what we've earned, we give to God. Train them from when they are young how to manage their resources. So that, because you don't have, I sometimes go to the hospital and I see people who were okay yesterday, today they cannot even say a word. What if that happens to you and you've not written down anything? Everything goes to the state. Some people here have accounts, they have not even their wives know that they have an account. Some people have money they've hidden somewhere and nobody knows about it. That money goes. And some people have bought land, not even their children know that there is a land that you have somewhere. All you will do is, after 5 years, when you go to Kenya, you realize somebody else built on it. And it's somebody's, and then you start court cases, and you end up spending a lot of money on it. So it's better you write it now, write it down, say I have 10 acres in Kenya, I have 2 houses here, and here they are. In case of anything, this is what happens. So that people know that, we are transparent. Even your children know that, our parents love us, and they've done this for us. Because if you write it down in the will that my house will take care of me when I go to a nursing home, whatever remains after that, if I go, then they can take it. It will be like that. The children cannot overrule that. They will take care of you until you are gone, and then they will. I see some people arrange even their burials. They buy their own caskets, they buy their own graves, and they pay for everything, and whatever remains, the children take it. So let's do that. What's wrong with us doing the same to our children? Because they will be your children anyway. Most of us invest in chama. This chama's merry-go-round, where you're paying for 100 to every group, organization. When you die, actually it's your children who get all that money. And they can, I don't know how much they spend on you when you are gone. I don't know. But we can put it in writing.
All right, there is something that Violet raised up, which I'm going to ask as you come in. Keep that thought, Violet, as you talk. One person took his kids to Africa. He had built a wonderful mansion in Kenya. Wonderful mansion. When they came back to Minneapolis, the kids were like, Daddy, why do we live in this servant quarter when we have a mansion in Kenya? Why do we live here? Why do we live? We are struggling to pay rent, to pay mortgage when we have a mansion in Kenya. So at what point can we decide with Violet that we are either living in the mansion in Kenya or live in the Minnesota or live both without straining ourselves? All right, keep thinking about that too.
To answer that right away is that, Pastor, some people see things differently.
Right.
I think that child saw something which is different. Some of our children will see, maybe I didn't want to say exactly what I wanted to say because my child is here, but this is the fact. Some children see things differently. If you look at, I remember there's a case that some kids were taken to Kenya and the father showed them everything that they owned. And then when they went to the brothers, the dad's brother, which are the uncles, they saw them miserable. So when they came, they asked the dad, Dad, I think something is missing in you. Why do you have a lot of things and your brothers are suffering? Why don't you just give them to all those things that you are telling me you're going to give it to me? Just give them to your brothers because I saw them, they are suffering. So people look at things differently. This is the fact, another one. Our children, as I said earlier, I know Pastor said that we nurture our children so that they will come, they will inherit what we have from us. To be honest, if we look at our culture, it speaks out. My father leaves things to my brothers. They inherit the land from my brothers. So that is generation and generation and generation. It keeps going. And then what is the payback? My brothers, they are responsible, or the children are responsible to take care of my dad or the grandfather when he's old, when he's not able to. And that is our culture. Our culture is nurtured like that. Now, here we are at this time, at this era. Do you think, Pastor, if I leave all my things that I've invested, the children, they don't know, even the Bible is very clear that these things that we've invested for so long, if we leave it for our children who don't know how we invested, it will finish tomorrow. We've generated this, whatever we have for years, but if we leave it for our children, they will bring it down within a minute because they don't know how much we suffered to bring all these things up. As a matter of fact, there's a will that you can write which says that the children can inherit anything that you own at any age if you are not there and if you cannot soundly make a decision. But however, if you are old and you are not dead yet and you are living in a nursing home, maybe your children have taken you to a place where you are living, these children are not going to come and be able to pay for you. It is a fact that they will not afford. And so here you are, you've raised a lot of money, they've divided because you moved from your house, they've sold a house, maybe your house is 500,000, they've sold, maybe you had something else, they've sold, so they've divided amongst themselves. So whatever is left is nothing, there's nothing left for you to be taken care of in the nursing home. So you are living in a nursing home which is very low, which is a very, how do we call it, the standard is very low because we have classes of nursing homes out here. For those who don't know. So if they will put you to a place whereby maybe the Serekali will be able to pay for you. The reason why is because they don't want to touch whatever they divided amongst themselves to pay for you. So what is the best way forward? The best way is just to have that income you've generated for so many years, and the government will govern it for you until you die. And if you die, whatever is left, then it goes to the children. Otherwise, if you leave it for them to pay for you when you can't soundly make a decision, the fact is that they will just they will first thing divide amongst themselves, and maybe nothing will be left for you to. Actually, let me mention something. Even the government here, they do this. If you go to a nursing home, or if you are not able to take care of yourselves, the first thing they look at is your assets. Pastor, they will look at how you have a house, right? How much is that house? They will come even down to your car. You have a car. How much is it worth? They will have to sell everything that you have. Then when it's all done and you are still alive, then they will now start looking at, okay, now the government will come in. Now we will do this for you. We will do this for you, and we will do that for you. Otherwise, they will first look at your assets, and if you wrote this asset to your children and your children are claiming it, you live miserable. That is the fact. So I just want to tell Pastor that in as much as you train Arthur to come and take care of that money, that Arthur will reach to a point at 18 and they will say, Dad, you know these things are all mine now. And they will kick you out. You can't believe you will be homeless.
So Violet is very passionate with the question I wanted to ask next. Are we in this generation, which is in relation to the one that I asked, at what point are we making a decision if we are going with Violet to the nursing home or if we are going to Kenya? At what time? How should we do the investment to take care of us wherever we are? Are you getting my question? All right. There is feedback back there before we. All right.
To answer your question,
Yes.
you know, you live in America, you want to be treated like a Kenyan. Those two don't go together. So you have to invest where your heart is. And your heart is, you have children here. In sincerity, if you have children here, how would you plan to go home and retire there? Who are you living for your children? As much as someone is 50, is still my child. And so I will say that invest where your children are. And if you're investing, if you know your children are going to Kenya with you, then invest there. But if you're investing in Kenya and you know your family is here, then you're really doing zero work for other people. So I will say that where your heart is where you should invest. That means you cannot be in two places at the same time. Just like a living will. Living will, you have to write it as soon as you know English. Write it down. If you know how to say something in English, write it down. And there are free counsels that can help you write your living will. So that you don't come here by flight sitting on a chair and you want us to take you in the cargo.
All right. I love to tweak the mind of people because those are some of the things we don't talk at church. But they are yet with us still. All right, Sister Pam.
Okay. Do you know what we call long-term care? What long-term care? Okay. You must have long-term care. Me, the way I like nice things, that one is stick. That's number one. I don't have parents back home. I don't have parents. And Pam, I know I support the worldwide church. I don't want my daddy to go with my support. So I don't want when I die, all the support I give to my church to further the gospel, it dims with me. No. I am working on that. Now, if you want to give a good will to Lincoln right now, there is an insurance you take. Is it called insurance? No. It's called, it's kind of an insurance. Let me just use basic language. You go, you put in $1,000, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You leave him alone. Pastor, if you love Arthur, the way he's young, you take that one, you go for 5 years, you are done. The biggest challenge is to go and build big apartments in Kenya. They take you 50 million Kenya shillings. I know, there's a friend of mine, he went and built apartments, and it's really sad that the husband died in an accident, and sooner or later she called me, but of course she didn't make it. They lived in Texas. Do you know what these children did? They went and auctioned the apartment. I tried to talk to them. After all, it's my mom who knew you, not us. There is no advice you can give them. I know we have beautiful children that are obedient, they are smart. But all I can tell you, I am an investor. Hey, I am not taking 50 million to Kenya. I will put it here where I can see it. And the government. Let me tell you something you don't know. I have already talked, I have gone through a lot of pain, but let me tell you something you don't know. That 50 million you are taking to build an apartment complex in Kenya, and sometimes the tenants won't even, they will chase you. They don't pay. Look at income per capita. Is this a class? So if you put 50 million here, we come with your, that 50 million, you have 20%, I get you a house, you get your rent every month, your rent is 2,500, your mortgage is 1,000. And don't you think you're better here? And here we can liquidate that house in 45 days if you want to sell it. This idea, we lost one of our members, you know him. We shouldn't have lost him just because he was following one land they bought with our nephew. And we were teaching at the University of Minnesota with Zach. He was volunteering. I was volunteering to do the chemistry part too, you know, but they gave me stipend, you know, I was a student. And then at that time he's building in Kenya. Me, I haven't started building anywhere. So you see, there's a ripple effect. If you don't know how to invest, you take this money, you put it in Kenya, you're 40 million. That's $400,000, right? And then now it's not complete. You die. Another one is following. They will follow you. Because those people don't know us. Let us not pretend that Kenyans don't know us very well. They don't know us. If you want to invest in real estate, where you are sitting is the best place. Because after 4 weeks, you have your money. After 4 weeks, you have your money. Okay. And Pastor, please, if you want that insurance for Earth and the baby, we have not seen the princess. We will sign it right now. Yes, we will sign it right now. But those of us here.
Amen. So, Sister Pam, what I want you to help Onsomu. Onsomu and you are different generations. Onsomu grew up in Kisumu. That is his base. And his Minneapolis. When is Onsomu going to Kisumu? Is he going to stay in Minneapolis or in Kisumu? I'm using you and Onsomu as an example. Like I mean the elderly people. At what point are they going to make a decision? Look at the way, look at how life changes in reality. Oh, me and Violet spoke about those kids. They are so nice. These ones went and admired Kenya, and the other ones asked their dad, what if he gave off the wealth to the uncles who are suffering? 95 of the ones we have who can speak that language will never go to Kenya. Because they have been raised here, the culture. If they go to Kenya, they will have a culture shock first. A culture shock. The system is so different. In Swahili, it's called system machambasi. So they will have to start to learn that culture of corruption. So which is, here you can't even corrupt the police. You know, this Kenyan guy tried to corrupt the police to give the police something, and he got 3 tickets. A felony of trying to bribe. That is the 3rd one. So some of those kids are not going to, the structure is so different. So they are raised up here. They don't know that people don't have running water. That electricity goes away for 3 days in the house. So let us also take that into consideration, like how should we manage our parents? Now I want the Wase to answer this. Are we going to continue to live in Minneapolis, or we make a decision at what point when we are strong, or at what point? I don't mean only Wase. I mean even young, some of us, I hear them saying, oh, I'm going to Kenya, Pastor. When we are done, when I came to Minneapolis, I was also in that excitement, like, man, I will come, because I had seen, when you come to America, apartments go up in Kenya. So I was like, oh man, I will be done, I will go back, and then man. So after a few years, I have discovered, like, oh, is what Pam's saying and what Violet's saying, is it true, or I'm still figuring out? And because I go and visit those people in the nursing home, and I sing for them, and they are so nice people, I love them. We sing with them. So I have started to mentally prepare myself, like, oh, 15 years, I might be here. So how should I prepare? So I want us to discuss that as a church. This is some things we don't discuss. But when it comes to Matanga, what's up? Added, someone pulled in. And like, oh man, now it's becoming a burden to the church. Do you know that the Matanga is going to become a burden in church? You know how it started to become a burden? Once upon a time, when KCC was the only church, when you had Mwanyagetinge, one Mwanyagetinge, everybody will give like 300, 400, those days, all days. Now, unless you are in Mwanyagetinge P and Mwanyagetinge C, Mwamosioma, and you are Mwanyagetinge D, you don't belong anywhere. No mchango. Do you know that? So that is how the thing is becoming a burden. So at what point should we make a decision to write our will? That now we are gone, we have property in Kenya. I need an answer from the elderly. Like, how do we face this life? All right.
Look at men who are here. Brother Dan, do you have a land in Africa?
Of course I do.
Tell me any man who doesn't have a land in Africa. Any man here? I'm glad you have a land back there.
Do you mean elder? Do you mean the one from our dads or the one we have
Our
bought?
dads, we do have a land. Me, I have a land there. The issue I'm having in this answering the question, Pastor, you're asking this way, is this. I know I have a land there. I build a house there. Because I have an attachment there, I'm thinking of investing there. So when you ask me to write a will now, it becomes hard to me because my thinking is about in Africa. When here, we have all men here who are seniors for us here. I'm sure Eldan Somu, Mama Sarome, many of them, they are thinking where they have an investment, where they have the land there. So when you talk about the will, also pay in mind, many of us who are here, they go up there for vacation. Compare with other generation which is here. And I've not seen anybody, young man here, who doesn't have a land back there. For some of us who are younger. So when that question is hard for me to say now. This we will talk about when we write a will and forget about Africa. It's hard for me to say I'm going to forget about there. When you talk about investment, to me sometimes it's hard to invest here. So what do I have here to write a will to my you have kids here. What do I have to? That's why I was talking about Valentine here, saying this way that I want my kids to know that what I have is for me and my husband. And I ask him now, Valentine, what do you have?
All right. Make sure they Wase. I need to hear from Wase. Yeah.
A will is not only things you have. A will is even what is in your values, things you like, things you prefer. If you prefer to be taken back to Kenya when you die, that's what you write down. Because your child will say, I want my dad here, where I can go and say goodbye to him every year. So if you write down, then it becomes easier for them. Or when you get sick, what do you want? What are the things you value most? Those are things you write, because sometimes you can get sick, and if you say, I don't want anybody to do CPR on me, I don't want anybody to put, how do you call that thing?
Intubate.
I don't want to be intubated and all those things. If you write it down, then even the doctors respect that. But if you say, I want everything done on me, then even if you have a problem with your wife, she cannot just say, oh, I think he's gone, just leave him. Let him rest. Let him rest. So, because sometimes we fear, because we feel like, somebody will do something to me. That's why we don't write a will. And it's important. A will is very good. Maybe we'll invite Mike Sims to come and help us to do it. Because sometimes, even there's something that Pam said very good. some of us have properties, and when you go, your things are sold. But if you put, if I die, I want 5% to go to my church that served me while I was alive. That will happen. So the conference will do that for you for free. They will help you write a will for free. And it's important. You know, even God will give you longer life if you put a little bit of your your earnings to the church. So don't just take everything. Don't give everything to your children. Give at least 1 or 2%. If it's, you know, that will help a lot, the work of God. And that's what a lot of white people do.
I want to hear from the elderly, from the elders, the elderly people in the house.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor. You know, as many of you have said, different families with different plans, with different ideas. But we want to see which one will work. Yeah, recently I had shared this, what we are discussing here, with a group of people somewhere. And this something I learned from the American Jews, Americans. You know, they are the multimillionaires in this country. And then they told me, where we were in that group, they said how they have built up their wealth and how it works with the entire family without having a problem. And this is what I want to share with you. So the American Jews, the rich guys you call in America, who really own America, they say with them, their kind of investments is that they start building the investments and then they call it Onsomu investments. So these generations of Onsomu, no one is going to sell anything from day one, whatever they started building up. What they do is that you come in as a family, you say, this is our wealth, this is what we have built. Now, these children, they come in to bring in the ideas how to make it even bigger. But the income which comes from these properties, the end of the year they share. Come December is when they share the dividends of these investments. They share. Some of them are employed in these investments. It's big companies. Some are CEOs, some are managers, some are whatever, but their aim is not to sell, but is to make it grow bigger and bigger. So which means that even if you grow old, you are still taken care of because your share is there. You continue getting the money. Even if you go to a nursing home, as my daughter Valentine has said, they will still take care of you there. So, even you are old, you don't want to go to a nursing home, but still wherever you are, even in a house where you live, they are able to pay for caretakers, you know, caregivers, to take care of you there until you die. So, I saw this kind of plan. It is good. It works well. I don't know whether our people really, the way we are selfish, whether we can do that. That's the only fear I have with our people, especially Kisses. I don't know whether we can be able really to work together as a family and build those investments. I don't know. But other people it works. With Asians, Indians, it works. You have seen Indian people. They live together. Here in downtown Minneapolis, one Indian who used to work with me, he told me they bought a house somewhere here, Roseville. How many? 6 bedrooms. 6 bedrooms, all married, 3, he told me three of them, 3 sons married. They stay in that house, all of them. What do? They save. Not that they are poor, they work. They live in one house. So, can we do it ourselves? I don't know. Do you think that we can live with our parents? Today, look, here I am with Salome. Instead of me staying at Salome, one room with my children, we are living in our own apartment. Yeah. What? Yeah. Me and Salome, how many? These are 2 stomachs, only people. What we eat? Very little. Yeah. Why should I rent a house? I'm paying here 2,000 plus food plus everything is 3,000. 3,000, if one of our children would have given us a room, I would have been saving this money. That is, I have challenged you that will it work? This is the, for sure. Okay, part 2. I have talked about American Jews, how they grow their wealth. Now, part 2, we are talking about investments back in Kenya. Pastor Nyarige, as you said. Even if you want to invest in Kenya and you live here, it works. This is the way I put it to you. Today, you go and buy a plot in Kenya, and I urge you that you buy where you can be able to rent the house. And then, or apartments, as some of you have said, that you own apartments in Kenya. Yes, you can own apartments in Kenya or houses in Kenya. You have a caretaker. He's your employee. He's one person who takes care of it. Then, 2, there are some lawyers. You have a lawyer. When he does a business to you is when you pay him. Not that you pay him every month. Is when he has done something to you is when you pay him. So if a tenant doesn't pay for any other reason, your caretaker is there, your lawyer is there, you can be able to talk to him from here. So whenever rent is collected, it's put in your account in Kenya, and you are here. What's wrong with that? And again, investing in Kenya is even easier sometimes. There are so many rules here. In Kenya, you buy a plot, you build it slowly, whatever the way you want to do it, with your little money from here. Yeah, you can get a good person to help you. So, rent is collected, is put in your account. You can still use the money, your money from Kenya. Is that difficult? No, you can use your money. And your properties, they are taken care of. What is wrong with that? Yeah, invest in Kenya, invest here, is all good. The only thing I agree with you, somebody said here, children, do not at any time tell your children that you have made money never. Yes, tell them whatever we have invested. This is part 2 I'm talking. It is mine and Salome. So we will write a trust fund. Yeah. This one, when we are expired, then is where you will get your money from that trust fund. That's all. That is all I had.
That is from the wisdom of an elderly in our midst. Do we have any other?
What do I confirm?
All right, we have another sage. We have another sage. Let him say something.
Good evening, everybody. I think it's about 10 years ago when I was with a certain group of people. We were attending a certain funeral where people were saying that if they die, they will not be taken to Africa or to Kenya. But there, I said that, and even now I believe, and even my children know, that whenever time God allows me to rest, I should be taken to Kenya, not here. And if it's going to reach a time, I'm not able to do certain things unless mentally confused, I should be taken to Kenya and rest there until God allows me to rest. And whatever we should pray when we are alive, God should help us live and retire us at a time He wishes in a nice place, not to give people problems. That is the prayer I should be making when I'm alive. Now about writing a will. Many, even my insurances, I've tried, they have sent somebody to come and I write in a will in here. I found it difficult. Do I write it here or go and write it in Kenya? Let me go on.
Those are young people injecting you, don't mind.
The experiences of the old people, they never used to say anything they had. But some of the people were old men in those days. Some of them were bad in that they wouldn't allow even the wife to know what property he has. That's not the type of a man, an old man I should be. No. We should, if God allows me to retire, or allows my wife to retire, I should take responsibility on her. And she should also take responsibility on me. Our children, I don't know whether they are true. Some of my children who are here, there's one of them who says strongly that he cannot go to Africa. And that is where he was born. But he says he cannot go there. Therefore, whatever I have there at home, does he want it? He does not want it. I don't know whether both of them are going to not to go to Kenya. But I have children in Kenya who are there who also will take what I have there. The thing is, what you have, whatever you have, wherever you have it, it's not good to tell your children that this is yours and this one will be yours. Have these things are yours and your wife until such a time, either you are going to retire, the wife will tell the children that your dad said, and in those days, Muse used to say, to tell the mom that such property, in good discussion, such property, so and so should take it, and the such thing there, the cow which is somewhere, we gave it out, it will be for so and so. Not this day, not that when you are going to tell your children, when they are, even the old man knew that if he has given the son, he has given him a portion of land where he has built a house, and he has given another one a portion of land. These days we use the word, I educated you. You are now working. You should be responsible of what you are doing. My property is for me and your mother. When I go, either your mother or me will tell you how these things are going to remain with you. I think that should be, that's how I should hand it. That you don't tell your children that this is your property and this is so and so's. These things are yours and your wife until God allows you to retire. And may it be known, we are here in church. If I arrest me, myself, I will be taken to Kenya, not here.
Amen. And I have really appreciated the kind of wisdom from the elderly people. This is wisdom. The challenge we have, Elder Onsom and Elder Nyangena, it is very few, 2% of the elderly people who can even speak the language you are speaking. It's like 2%. Some of the parents will be like cursing their children, cursing on them, like because of these wrangles they have within the family, they don't know that the power of life and death is with the parent. So it's very few parents who have that perspective. So otherwise we are running late. I'm excited. You know, this topic is so touching. We can talk until 7 p.m. But all we want to say, when is it early for you? It's better to do things when it is still early for you. I don't know how early it is for you. Everybody has their early. So make your decision. Number two, the sociological upbringing. You know, Elder Onsom and these two elders who have spoken, they have been socialized in a different society. And some of us, we have been socialized in a different way, a different generation. You can see, within one generation, one wants to be taken back home, another one is not going. Just within one generation. So by the time you hit the third generation, things are completely different. So let us remember, above all, to have God at the center of everything we do. Whatever we do, whatever decision we make, let God be at the center. He will solve all the conflicts. He will give us great guidance, and He will lead us into salvation. So may the Lord bless you, KCC, and thank you for the week we have had. Let us now rise up, unless someone has, let us rise up for the last prayer, and then we are done. We have had a joyful psalm. Jesus said, Jesus says, that old ram. Jesus said, Jesus saves, saves that Lord. Here go these are songs of victory. Jesus said, Jesus said. What number is it? 3? 340? Okay, let us do the last verse. What does the last verse say?
If the winds.
Okay, all right, let's go. If the winds a mighty foe, Jesus said, Jesus said,
let the nations now rejoice.
Jesus said, Jesus said, shout salvation to free. Highest faith, let me desire. Tis a song of victory. Jesus said, Jesus said. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for your grace, love, and mercy. Thank you for having been with us through the week, and for this Sabbath day, you have blessed us. Lord, we have shared ideas. I pray for peace that surpasses all understanding. I pray for the elderly people in this church. Keep walking with them all the journey in their life. I pray for young families. Keep blessing them and walking with them. Those who have children, some in the house, others who have left, I pray that your hand will never be short. Reach out to them and bless them. Open doors and protect them. I pray for the young children who are growing. Bless them, the pathfinders, the adventurers, and all the leaders of the church, right from the pastor to all departmentals. Bless us together. Above all, prepare us for eternal kingdom. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you. God bless you.
Evening. We've come to the end of the program. Pastor Nyarige has really done the job that the Lord has given him.
Check. Use this one.
Thank you, Pastor, for the work you've done throughout the week. And we have really benefited. Did we benefit? Yeah, Pastor Nyarige is open to us. Anytime you have a question, it's just a phone call away. He is very, very, very knowledgeable. I didn't know he knows a lot of psychology. Are you doing clinical psychology, Pastor? Yeah, he knows everything. So if you have a question, reach out to him. He can advise. We thank you. We look forward to using you again. Can we allow him to come one time? Yeah, anytime. We are welcome, Pastor. We'll reach out to you and you can help our community, help our families, because if we have strong families, we have a strong church. I give you thanks to you, to your wife, who allowed you to speak every night. You know, you took out your family time to speak to us. May Lord richly bless you. Bless your wife and your children. I know your son is ready to go home now, but you've really persevered to stay. So we have come to the end of this program, and Pastor, we thank you, and we ask the Lord to keep you healthy so that you can grace us with the knowledge that you have, that our families will stay strong in church. Thank you, and have a good evening. Oh, the choir is meeting, so the choir, please remain behind a little bit. I know some people went to Faith Church, but those who are here, let us remain behind a little bit before we go. Thank you.